All right, welcome back to another episode of the Black Bullion Show. First off, big shout out to Maya here. I got this shirt the other day and I really like it. Shout out to anybody who is a 90s kid who knows who Maya is. Big moves for silver last night, where it had been lagging behind gold's big move yesterday. But hey, even though silver moved strongly last night, gold wasn't going to be left in the dust. As I mentioned before, the near-term pullback was only going to last a brief period of time, as the general environment for gold and silver is just too strong. So how are precious metals making these strong moves? Well, find out shortly, but first, if you're new to this channel, please hit that big red subscribe button right down below. Also, please hit the like button. Helps to get this economic evangelism right on out there to the masses to bring more people into precious metals. Now, before we actually get into the video, we just had some crazy moves today. And I just want to mention that the reason why we had that big drop today in both gold and silver is likely due to the S&P 500 hitting its pretty much new all-time high. And after it hit its all-time high, it started to retreat and gold and silver started to go down. The dollar started to go up a little bit. And I honestly think that people are selling so they can get into equities and get to more of those riskier plays. So let's get started here and let's take a general look at why gold and silver have been making an uptrend recently, not just looking at the downward movement within the last moments of today or the last couple of hours. So here we have the DXY, and this is just pretty much insane. The DXY hasn't been this low since almost April 2018. We plummeted just recently after 8 a.m. in the DXY Eastern Standard Time, but we also had a slight drop after 8 p.m. yesterday. Now, remember those two times because they'll come in handy soon. But what's going on exactly with the dollar recently? Well, check this out. So here we have an article titled, "Hedge funds are reportedly shorting the dollar as fears rise over its status as the world's #1 currency." So that's a big claim there. So let's read into it and see if it has any teeth. Hedge funds are shorting the dollar and are bearish on the greenback for the first time since May 2018, in the latest sign that the world's top reserve currency is declining further and unlikely to bounce back anytime soon. Bloomberg reported Monday, citing data from the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, that net futures and forward positions held by leveraged funds against 8 currencies, not including the dollar, fell to negative 7,881 contracts last week. That means that more investors are betting against the dollar than on it right now. Bloomberg said the shorting spree was driven by bullish bets on the euro. The euro has outperformed the dollar by 6% since the start of the year. Currently, the euro is roughly worth $1.18. The dollar has been weakening since the peak of the Roni's crisis. The revelation comes after months of dollar weakness. The bearishness has partly been attributed to the Fed's massive Roni's stimulus programs. Expansionary monetary and fiscal policy tends to drive down bond yields and lower interest rates. A lower interest rate makes saving in US dollars less attractive. And we've talked about this in previous videos. And while investors initially flocked to safe havens, such as the dollar at the start of the Roni's, this has dissipated in recent months. So who exactly are those safe havens that investors have been flocking to? Well, you guys, you're on a Bullion channel. Come on, you know the answers to this. You have to know. It's our friends over here gold and silver. Now take a look at the performance here for our metal friends. So just after 8 a.m. we had a rise here in both gold and silver. Now remember, around 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, that's when we saw a little bit of a dip in the DXY. Also, let's scroll down a little bit more here. And here you have silver right around 8 p.m. Yesterday, you had it begin to rise here. Let's also take a look at gold. Again, around the same time, you start to see the price of gold rise as well around 8 p.m. yesterday. So the dollar is having a little bit of a opposite movement with both of the metals right now. And as you can see, you know, the competitors right now for the dollar are doing pretty well. So what about some other competitors? Let's see who else is beating down on the dollar. So here we have pound sterling benefits as investors slash bearish bets. Data and Brexit headlines hold key to near-term moves against euro and dollar. So let's read this quick quote here. Investor sentiment on the British pound has turned increasingly positive over recent weeks, with data showing traders are exiting the bets they had built up against the currency. This has in turn helped push the pound higher, the dollar higher than the dollar, and kept it relatively well supported against a broadly stronger euro. CFTC data for the week ending August 11th showed a fierce trimming of GBP shorts, says Francisco Pesole. The net positioning on sterling moved into neutral territory for the first time since April. The data showed the amount of active bets in favor of a weaker pound were cut back from 34% to 28%. The GBP short squeeze helps us understand the recent resilience in sterling. Although CFTC data appears to be lagging the jump in GBP spot by a couple of weeks, considering that GBP outperformance was mostly concentrated in the second half of July, but the short squeeze became apparent in positioning data only in August, says Pelosi. So things are starting to look rosy for the pound now. So let's take a look here at where it is. So currently we're at 1.32 against $1. Well, it takes $1.32 to get 1 pound sterling. So as you can see here, it's been performing pretty well today. Let's take a look at the euro. The euro has you know, skyrocketed today at a certain point today, but it's generally been uptrending against the dollar at $1.19 that it takes to get 1 euro. So that's looking pretty good for the euro, and not so good for the dollar, unfortunately. So guys, all of this has been a nice wind in the sails of gold and silver. Obviously, again, we had a little bit of a sell there around 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time today. Again, that's right around the time when the S&P 500 basically hit its new record high. So guys, thanks again for watching. Please give the video a like. Please subscribe if you're new, and let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. It's Black Bullion.